Folks, welcome to your week. It is here once again, a Monday, but don't worry, this is the 4th of July week, so you will get one day off, maybe potentially two if you're lucky, and we are going to kick off your holiday weekend the right way, holiday week the right way, by talking to our favorite, the one, the only. She's at the Jersey Shore right now, Sophie Ross. Sophie.
Let's get after it.
Let's get into it. Let's get these dogs barking. Let's go. What are you doing where in the world is Sophie Ross? Last weekend you were back in Charleston with your mom because we're on Sophie Ross Wedding Watch 2024, and now you're in the Jersey Shore. Do you ever flip and just stay home? It's like ridiculous.
Honestly, I miss staying home. I want to just be home for the next few weeks. But yeah, it's just been like a busy month. It's summer. We're all over the place. So yeah.
It's a busy month. It's just a busy month.
It's a busy time.
It's a busy year. You're always at a wedding.
True.
You're always doing something. There is no staying home for Sophie Ross.
I mean, that's just the life of like being a socialite. I actually was invited to Olivia Culpo and Christian McCaffrey's wedding this weekend, but I just there's just like so much happening that I just like couldn't make it.
Yeah, by the way, Olivia, that goes for me as well, but we really wish you the best of luck in all of your future, your marriage and all future endeavors. Are you a big Culpo fan?
Olivia, you looked so pretty. I'm sorry that we couldn't be there.
You're talking about, so Olivia Culpo got married this weekend. Do you follow those sisters? Are they a big influence for you?
I love the Culpos. I stand them. I follow them. Aurora. So I'm sure you saw this. Did you not?
Yeah. In fact, that was one of the news stories today.
Yeah.
Explain to the audience what we're about to talk about.
So Aurora is Olivia's older sister, who, by the way, has had like Candace Owens on her podcast. She's like the one that I am the most questionable. Like, she's very questionable. I still love them. I loved their reality show and I love following them. But Aurora kind of sucks and has like very QAnon views sometimes. But she was seen with Bethany Frankel's ex-fiance. What's his name again? He's like his name's
Paul Bernin. Paul Bernin.
Yes, and apparently he was her date to her sister's wedding this weekend, which is serious. Like, that's like serious.
I mean, that is serious, but like it was interesting, and some people were like sympathizing with Bethany Frankel, saying like, how dare he? He's already dating, because they had just announced, I guess, their separation or whatever it was a little bit ago. But at the same time, Bethany, come on, like that's got to be potentially a hard relationship to be in. Do you not wish Paul happiness? Like, can he not be in another relationship?
I think that after being with Bethany Frankel, he deserves all of the flowers in the world.
Well,
Paul, whatever makes him happy, please, he deserves it.
Well, Paul has never gone on record, I don't think, even speaking about his and Bethany's relationship. And by the way, for Bethany, this could be a good pivot from all of the Chanel stuff to talk about being wronged in this relationship potentially. So it could be a whole nother avenue in terms of like trying to make money off of your personal life.
Has she actually she hasn't addressed it yet, has she?
I don't believe so, but that's wild for Bethany, because you just know she's going to have like a tub of cottage cheese and start addressing it while she makes her way through this cottage cheese.
Spiral incoming. You know that it's about to go down.
Well, and it's got to hurt because it's actually somebody affiliated, not directly in the public eye, but public eye adjacent. And if he was at that wedding for the couple, that is like a big invite. That is out there in the press.
Oh, yeah. And also, like, this was like kind of my royal wedding. Like, I was so excited.
What? For real?
I know.
What? Are you kidding me?
I know. Was this like out of left field that I like love Olivia
It really
Culpo?
is. It is out of left field.
I love her. And she's like my fashion icon. She's like, I love her. And she seems very sweet. I've just like followed her she's like kind of the original Instagram influencer. I just love her. And last night, I think we were like at dinner when like the Vogue exclusive of her Dolce & Gabbana custom dress, like all of the video content. And I was like, I'm sorry, everyone. Like I had to like step aside and watch all of the video content about her dresses. And I'm kind of disappointed.
in the dress.
Yeah, like she had multiple dresses, by the way. They're on Vogue's TikTok. And I think there's going to be like a rollout of like the rest of the content. But I read the article, and if you see the actual like image of the dress, it's very like trad wife, like high neck, long sleeves, no lace, full skirt, just nothing. It's just like completely covered. And she said, you know, in the Vogue interview, she's like, I just didn't want to exude sex at all. This is a covenant. We're getting married in a church. And I know when Christian finds me the most beautiful, it's when I'm covered.
Ooh.
And I was like, what? So I don't know. I think they're very traditional, like Christian. And then her after party dress was like completely see-through with like underwear. So, but I also didn't like love the after. I just so far from what I've seen, I haven't like loved her looks, and I was so excited. But also like Dolce & Gabbana, like fuck Dolce & Gabbana. I feel like we all know that they kind of suck. So I don't know. I'm like kind of disappointed, but I'm like excited for the rest of the content to like start rolling out. Like this is my royal wedding.
Guys, Culpos, you got to impress Sophie at this point on. She is like really let down at this point.
Also, season one of their show, the Culpo Sisters, I think it was just called the Culpo Sisters. It was on TLC and now on HBO Max, I think, or Max.
Yeah.
And where's season 2? I think it didn't get picked up for season 2 because I was the only one who watched it. Like no one else watched it.
No, I watched the first couple of episodes because I think there was a time when I was going to talk to some of the sisters. So I remember watching it and I thought it was like, yeah, it was a reality show. I didn't hate it. I was like, oh, okay. But I don't follow the Culpos like you do. I would be
so starstruck if you got a Culpo on your podcast.
Culpos, like if you're listening.
D-listers. They're such D-listers, but I would be so much more starstruck than like if you got Timothée Chalamet.
Well, big news. I did get Timothée Chalamet. Club Chalamet, shout out. We're talking to him this Wednesday. Dune 3 is happening. Well, no, she got married.
Are you going to recap Jersey with Timothée Chalamet?
I asked Timothy to watch a really important episode of Real Housewives of New York just to get his thoughts. Wouldn't that be great if that, like, I'll never be that cool. I'll never get those kind of like hidden guests. But the Culpo girl, she married a football player, right?
Christian McCaffrey. Sorry, I'm actually drinking a pina colada in a red Solo cup.
But wait, real quick. Sophie, what's your deal with pina coladas? Because one time your fiance brought you in a pina colada when we recorded.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What?
Remember, it looked like milk. And I was like, what is this? And it was a pina colada. I love pina coladas. They're just like a summer, like, must have.
God, I wish my body could like, it's so like the sugar in a pina colada. Like I can't process that anymore.
Oh, I love it. I love the sugar.
Oh my God. Well, okay. So she's married to a football player now.
Yeah. So Christian McCaffrey, he, I think was NFL MVP last year. Like he's like actually really good, plays for the 49ers. He's really good. She used to date Danny Amendola, who was also a football player. And they apparently had a very toxic breakup. I know all the Olivia Culpo lore.
I know. My God. Like this is also.
And Sophia Culpo is the younger sister. And Sophia was dating Braxton Berrios, another football player, who's now dating Alex Earl and allegedly cheated on Sophia with Alex Earl. And now Sophia's just dating like a normie. Like me.
Sorry.
Like me.
Sorry, normie. Well, I bring up the football player aspect because I feel like you got assaulted this week because your favorite football player, Joe Burrow, he has been spotted with one Wes Wilson from Summer House. You saw this picture. I saw this picture. Is Wes trying to win you back? Because it's that he did that. And then guys, earlier this week, he posted a photo at Skyline Chili, an Ohio favorite, saying like, this shit's the best. Like he is doing all Sophie related things this week. How did you feel of Wes Wilson? Because you had such strong opinions on him since the season wrapped.
He's trying to win me back and it's not working. So
Is
I
it
think
Wes
maybe a little bit. If he like the fact that he complimented Skyline Chili, which like very often like people love to make fun of Skyline Chili, and he actually was like, this shit slaps. I was like, okay, you got 1 point. but I think he still has his full-time job at Complex.
Yeah, Complex Sports, yeah.
And so it looks like he was with like Patrick Mahomes, and he's like with all these NFL stars, I think, doing like just like interview work. I think he does like social for them. But yeah, fuck that. He got to meet Joey B before me. And also, remember when we talked a few weeks ago about how Joe, actually this was a couple months ago, about how Joe was allegedly single.
Yeah.
And then I heard from insider Ohio sources that he is 100% single. And I follow his, I guess now ex-girlfriend on Instagram. And you would think because he was at like Paris Fashion Week, and he was in Cannes, and he was like frolicking around France. She wasn't there. So I think and it makes me upset thinking about like, he very well could have hooked up with Kendall at Paris Fashion Week. He could have been the other person barefoot at the Louvre with her at midnight.
Oh my God. Yeah. Kendall's back with Bad Bunny, allegedly, you guys. And they did a private tour where they got to see the Mona Lisa, which is like, great, good for you. But then she had her shoes off. She was in there with her dirty toed. Like, just what? You know how many millions of people walk around? Like, I mean, first off, that's disgusting. But secondly, like, let them all eat cake. Are you kidding me? Like, put some shoes on. Respect the joint a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm not down for that.
It's all for the aesthetics. Like, she thinks that she's like such like an aesthetic girly, and I'm just like, you're so embarrassing. Like,
but shouldn't aesthetics be like put some like shoes and underwear on?
Yeah, yeah. It's like the clean girl aesthetic, but it's like the grimy ass, disgusting bitch aesthetic that she was going for. It's disgusting. It's Paris. It's disgusting.
It's like Kylie did this photo shoot on her Instagram that made me laugh, where it was like all around like these white bed sheets that had been like hung to dry. And I just thought it was so funny thinking about Kylie like air drying her clothes and her bed sheets. It's like all there for the aesthetic and the IG moment and stuff. But you're like, I just love to think of Kylie like air drying
using
her bed
a clothesline. She uses a clothesline.
Stormy, come watch how mommy air dries your sheets, babe. Come watch.
It's so silly. Also, did you see? I know I feel like I'm like leading the conversation.
Lead.
Welcome to So Bad It's Good with Sophie Russ.
How dare you?
Kylie and Timothee on their date.
Spotted. You guys, they were spotted. This is a Backgrid Demois exclusive. They were at the parking garage at the Mann's Chinese Theater right on Hollywood Boulevard. You can't get more Hollywood than this. They were both all in black, masked up, masked like full COVID masks, everything. And the reason like the Backgrid of it all is funny is because usually that's the number one photo agency to tip off. Usually the Kardashians work in conjunction with Backgrid for exclusive photos. And you have to pay to use those photos and all of that stuff. But what was your feeling? Because we hadn't had a Timothee Kylie sighting in so many months.
I was convinced that they were no longer
done. Yeah.
And so, you know what? I'm not thrilled about it. Like, that's my baby. That's
Which
my
one?
baby. It goes Olivia Culpo, Timothée Chalamet.
Hey, Joey B, Joey Burrow, and then the rest of the Culpos.
It goes, Olivia Culpo, Timothée Chalamet, Joe Burrow, Sophia Culpo, Aurora Culpo.
And then
That's my A-list.
Fiance, God, and Family.
Braxton Berrios.
well, I will say potentially they didn't see each other because I think Timothée Chalamet just wrapped filming on playing a young Bob Dylan. So he was in New York filming this Bob Dylan biopic of his like younger years. And maybe he told Kylie like, listen, when I'm getting in the character of Bob Dylan, I can't be with you. You're so of now. You're so of this age. I need to take it back when cell phones didn't exist. I can't be with you right now, babe. Maybe that's what happened.
He was like, your face has seen an iPhone before.
I can't see you because I'm playing a time before there was enhancements for faces and butts and boobs. Like it would distract me too much. And Kylie potentially was excited of like, oh my God, I'm dating a real artist. Like he's method acting right now.
And also, like, I saw that picture of them and everyone was like, oh my God, the celebs are masking up again. You know, COVID is bad again. First of all, I just had COVID. It was really bad. And there is this new variant going around, but like, that's not why Kylie Jenner is masking up in public. Like, she doesn't want to be like, she doesn't want her face seen in public. I'm sorry. Like,
because she'll be picked apart, because her face will be picked apart.
Yes.
Like she was crying about that on the reality show like 2 weeks ago.
Yes. And you saw her at Paris Fashion Week where she was wearing a veil over her face. She does not want to show her face, which is like sad. It's like a sad way to live without like the filters and the edits. And even like on the show, they can choose how they look and come across on the show. And they have filters and they have like, you know, the things that make them look better on the show. It's like, I don't think that like she is just ever going to walk around without a mask ever again. Like just in public. Yeah, I mean, I don't think she will.
I mean, she's going to end up looking like Michael Jackson in 5 years. I mean, but it's one of those things where you're like, I do empathize, but at the same time, it's hard because they ushered in this kind of newish era of all of these enhancements and faces and being seen everywhere and posting all of these edited photos. The Kardashians edited this in, like, you know, this era in. I mean, sorry, ushered this era in. So I sometimes feel like, well, I mean, crying all the way to the bank, like I want to respect your feelings, but at the same time, you played a huge part in this.
Exactly. I don't feel bad at all. Like it's sad. It's sad, but also think about all of and I tweeted this too. Like, it's not even just like the lips. Like people were like, well, she like made so much money from saying she didn't have lip fillers. And I'm like, I don't give a shit about the lips. I give a shit about her Jessica Rabbit ass body type. That she has acted like, you know, I just work out at the gym and that's how I have this body. And think about how many like disorders and dysmorphias and like all the devastation, this body type that she and her family have popularized. Like, think about what that has caused.
Yeah.
Not only like the younger generation, but even like just older grown women that now look at themselves like, wow, like, why is my body not shaped like that? Like, it's just like, I don't feel bad for you. Sorry.
It is interesting. And I would, you know, I don't think we'll ever hear the very real conversation that could inspire. Like, we'll hear little bits and pieces like we did a couple of episodes ago where she talks about feeling bad. But, you know, it is, I mean, and God, it's so hard because you do want to treat them as people, but sometimes they're at such a level and they've inspired so much, like you said, so many young women and, you know, women of any age, like looking at their faces in a different way, feeling bad about their bodies. Like and they made money on that through, you know, remember when they were all doing back, you know, in the early aughts, like the tummy tea ads, you know, it's just now they are like at the higher end of all of that culture. You know, they're getting the best work done, the work that we would never be able to afford at this point. But it all started back on these stupid diet trends back in the early aughts.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of, to go back to Wes Wilson really quick, we got some big Summer House news this week because we had Danielle Oliveira announcing that she will not be a part of this upcoming season of Summer House. What was your thoughts on this, Sophie?
Danny Girl. I like how she signed it Danny Girl and everyone was like, what, since when is that your name? Danny Girl.
Poor Danielle. Danielle cannot win for losing. Like people are like,
she cannot win. You know what? Like I think that it was very obvious. The way that she phrased it was like, I decided to take a step back. She did not decide that. I think that Bravo gives them the option to be like, yeah, you can lie and say that it was your decision instead of like admitting that you got fired. So I don't think it was her decision. I think, you know, it's not super surprising because she wasn't popular at all this season, but like, I don't get why people act like Danielle is like the devil. Like they give her more grief than they give Kyle Cook, West, like the way that people are like celebrating, like, thank God. And it's like, what is the worst thing that Danielle has brought to our screens? Like some cringy moments. Like she is not a bad person. I think she's had some cringy moments. And I also like, I don't like the founder CEO joke because I think that she is a woman of color who founded a company. And while her app may be, you know, not number one on the app charts, like it's still like she put herself out there to found an app. Like, and she's a woman of color. Like, I think that we should be like applauding that. If she fails, she fails. She still did more than, I can say for myself or any of us can say for ourselves, really. So I am I'm a Danny girl defender for sure.
And I don't want to say I'm an apologist, but I will say, you said cringy moments. Reality shows work at their best when there's cringy moments. Like, and you make this great point of like, there's so much conversation to be had around Kyle Cook. Like Danielle, that character is necessary for Summer House. Like, even if you look at it in like a football aesthetic of like, okay, she's going to back up Lindsay here. Like Gabby obviously loves Lindsay, but we need Danielle to back up Lindsay because we have over on this side, we have Paige, Amanda, Sierra, Kyle, Carl, potentially against Lindsay. So we need that sort of backup. So my thought was like, bummed to see her go because I feel like she's a necessary character that also provides some cringy moments that are entertaining. She will say things about Paige that obviously irks Paige, which I think is necessary. And so going into the new season, it's really left me wondering, where the hell are we with Lindsay? Is Lindsay coming back to Summer House? Because I almost felt like, is the shoe about to drop that Lindsay's about to announce whatever is going on with Lindsay? And we're about to shoot, like first week of shooting is this week, right? The 4th of July weekend.
It usually is the 4th of July, I think. I read that they're both coming back, Carl and Lindsay. And I also read, did you read Lindsay's like Glamour interview where they were like, can you ever imagine yourself not doing Summer House? And she was like, I will do Summer House until I'm 100 years old. She loves it. Like she was born to be a reality star. Like she is the Janis Joplin. She is the Judy Garland of reality.
Janis Joplin.
Like she was born to do this and she knows it. I don't see Lindsay ever walking away and I don't see Bravo ever walking away from her. So I would
my concern is like the rumors surrounding whatever is going on potentially if she is
with her being potentially with child.
Yeah, like that's my concern is Bravo potentially get cold feet of, is that a good situation to put? Like, I'm fine with it, but you also know that these shows will sometimes activate Lindsay or activate anybody. Right. And you're coming off like this intense, reunion relationship. And even though Lindsay has moved on with another guy, you would expect to see some sparks fly between Carl and Lindsay. And are we going to see like a very like, I've got to stay not heated. She won't be drinking. She won't be like, there's all of these things that I'm down to see it happen and see them try. I'm just wondering if they will let her.
Right. That's an interesting point. And you know what else is interesting to think about? Like they are at the age where, okay, time to have babies. Like we're in our 30s, late 30s for Kyle, early 40s. Not that there's like any specific timeline, but biologically speaking. And it seems like Kyle and Amanda are putting themselves, like, I do not envy their situation because it seems like they probably realize it is like, okay, it's time for us to like have kids. But if we jeopardize our place on the show, then we won't have the promotion for Loverboy that we so desperately need because Loverboy is tanking. It's like, it seems like they might be putting off having kids, and I could see the rest of the cast. And this probably goes for, I mean, I think maybe Summer House is the only cast where like, they're in a summer house. They're supposed to be like young partying. Whereas like Vanderpump, they started to have kids at the same time and it's fine. The show evolves, but I don't know how Summer House would evolve if suddenly like a baby is brought into it. Like that wouldn't work.
Yeah. No, Kyle would be livid if he had to like send, are we going to send it up with this child right here?
I'm actually rooting for Kymanda. Again, I feel like I have to like disclaimer this and say I'm never rooting for like divorce or people to like be unhappy and heartbreak and all of that. Yeah. But like I feel like they would both thrive separate from each other.
So I thought you were about to say you're rooting for Kymanda, but you're about to say you're rooting for Kymanda to separate. You're rooting for them to. No, by the way,
I'm rooting for their divorce.
That would make an interesting Summer House where they're not even in the same bedrooms, but they're still on the cast.
And I think that's the other thing is that Summer House is keeping them in this like miserable status quo where they feel like they have to stay together because of the show.
I really didn't think much about that, but you're very correct. And going into this season, obviously online, there's been so much drama surrounding Kyle and whatever he's doing in the outside world. And going into this season with all of that heat from social media at him, and also not having to answer really for anything at this reunion. And I'm really curious. Well, the Craig beef, and I'm wondering if we're going to have the Spritz wars on Summer House, because would you, as a business person, have that as a storyline when really all that would do would be giving so much promotion to Spritz Society, the other Spritzer that competes with Loverboy? Would you give it that much free promotion for a storyline when you only want to promote Loverboy as the Spritz of Summer?
That's an interesting shout. I guess we're going to have to
tune in and find out.
We're going to have to watch to find out.
You still got a crush on Jesse Solomon?
Duh. Always.
Oh my God. I feel like that's where you lose credibility. Because to me, West and Jesse Solomon are two sides of the same coin.
No.
West hasn't had cancer a couple times. That's the difference. And the hair obviously is different as well.
No, because, and we've talked about this, Jesse Solomon has always been upfront about who he is and what he is. I respect that.
No, you're right. But I do find it interesting because you had a bad opinion of you loved Jesse Solomon, then you didn't like Jesse Solomon, and then you went back to really liking Jesse Solomon. And I just think that's very interesting, that wave, that roller coaster that you're on with Jesse Solomon, but you seem solidified in your love of Jesse Solomon. So I just wanted to check in.
We're really happy.
We're very good. I wonder if he's going to get you a wedding gift. Or by the way, when they at your wedding, will there be that part of the wedding where they'll be like, does anybody have anything to say like that to stop this? Yeah, any objections? Before, and like Jesse Solomon, you're like, what would Jesse Solomon do? Ruin Sophie's wedding. I will. Like what if he does like a song to ruin your wedding?
I feel like you would like bring him for the bit. Like, I feel like that would be like a really like
I bring Jesse Solomon to the wedding. I'm like, hey, here's a couple hundred walking around money, Jesse. Go have fun in Charleston, but I'm going to need you to be at this wedding at this time. I'm going to need you to object to the wedding at this very specific time.
Yeah, like I could see you doing that for the bit. And like, it would be funny.
Yeah. By the way, I've done bits like that where I've regretted after the fact, but in my mind, they seem so funny. And they're like, oh, that would so be amazing. And I've really learned to like second guess everything that I've thought is funny over the years. So I think you're good. I did want to bring up, this is like not really a pop culture story, but I was on Jeff Lewis and he brought this up, and then I kind of was fascinated about it. And I thought, oh, there's no way that you do not know about this. Sophie, do you know what raw dogging a flight is?
Oh, it's the thing where like a guy won't bring like a book or headphones or anything, and we'll just like sit there on a flight. And it's like a men thing, right?
No. I mean, no, women are raw dogging as well. So what it is, it's a TikTok trend where plane passengers boast about enduring an entire flight without any form of entertainment or distraction, no phone, no TV, no books, no music, and some even forego the free snacks. And then they'll post on TikTok of just raw dogged a 9-hour flight. Some people don't even go to the bathroom. And by the way, I've seen women do this as well. What is your opinion on raw dogging a flight to actually be at one with your thoughts? They just stare ahead in space. Don't sleep.
I mean, I personally, and I feel like most people are like, you people can't do anything, but like, I really do have bad ADHD, and I just would rip my hair out. I would pick my skin. I would bite my nails off. I would have to do something. Like I physically wouldn't be able to. Like, I respect people who can do that, I guess, for the bit. Like, they're just doing it for TikTok. Like, okay. But I think people genuinely are just like, yeah, it's fine. I'll just like sit here and like sleep a little bit and just like sit, I guess.
I don't fucking respect the people that do this. I think it's the dumbest fuck thing that you could possibly do. Part of the enjoyment on a flight is seeing what movies are there and seeing what,
by the way,
we got a special guest. What up, dude?
Hey, Henry, you're in the background. By the way, he's not naked. He just doesn't have a shirt on.
He's like, I heard you guys talking about raw dog in a flight. What's up?
He was like, you rang? That's Henry.
No, but it's like you have this time on a flight. Like, why sit there alone with your thoughts when you're like, the whole point is bring a magazine, bring a book. Like, I can't imagine wasting a flight like that and then to forego snacks.
That's okay. That's a great point. Like, you're wasting this time, because I am not someone who pays for Wi-Fi or has to have Wi-Fi. I am good with like a flight. If it's an 8-hour flight, okay, I am not on the internet for 8 hours. I get excited for that. Like, I'm like,
Yes.
okay, totally offline for 8 hours. I do not care about getting plane Wi-Fi. Like, download my shows, bring a great book, see what like the movie options on the plane are, depending on the airline. There are like some new releases. Yeah, like I love that. I have a lot of fun with myself just on a flight.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like that's such a waste of a flight. But anyways, this is a new TikTok trend. Please do not do this, folks. Please do not do this. Now, over the weekend, this Travis Kelce, man, sometimes I worry about him. He was spotted at a very hip, like members-only nightclub. And Demois also posted this because he was like hiding in the back of his chauffeured car, and he was like hiding under a coat on the way out. But they also said he was there with Tristan Thompson and Leonardo DiCaprio. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, Travis, do not hang around. Like, I mean, Tristan Thompson of all people, not a good look at all, man. I don't care if you've liked Leo's films or anything like that. Don't blow this, man. Like, did you see this?
I didn't see that. No, I think I'm a little behind. I like kind of like tuned out when he went on stage in London, and I was just like, okay, I've had enough.
See, I'm there going like, woo, yay. I was like, yeah.
That's your Olivia Culpo.
Kind of. Well, yeah, they're very comparable, but I do find it interesting. It's like, man, hanging out with Tristan Thompson, and like, what is Tristan Thompson like? You don't want Tristan Thompson giving Travis any advice of like, yo, make sure you don't like hook up with people on a hotel camera. Like, what kind of dumb advice would Tristan give this man? But then Tristan Thompson jetted on over to Ireland and then made it for Taylor's show in Ireland. Like, it is so weird. This guy's going to run himself ragged. As a sports fan, should he be going this hard in the off season? Like, I'm not.
No.
No. Joe Burrow was just at Fashion Week, you said.
I know.
He's going hard.
I know. I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing that like my quarterback, even though I love him to death, he's like walking Paris Fashion Week. I'm like, if you don't go to the Super Bowl, if you don't win the Super Bowl this year, like this is going to come back to haunt you. Like, you need to be like focusing. We have 9 Sundays until football Sunday.
Really? Is it only 9 Sundays? Is it really 9 Sundays?
Yep. I saw that today, actually, because it was like a graphic. It was like an NFL graphic 9, because that's Joe Burrow's number. It was like 9 Sundays to football season. So like, get the fuck to work, you know, well, like fun's over, party's over.
I mean, Travis, they won the Super Bowl, so it's going to be so much on him, and people are going to want to take him down now more than ever. So wouldn't you really commit even doubly, triply hard to your performance on the field? What if he retires and just says, I just want to go on the Eras tour for the rest of the, like, I can't do football this year. I just want to do Eras tour.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just like never played football again at this point. Like, if he actually, no, I'm serious. Like, if he decided to retire like right now, like his star has never been bigger or brighter because of his relationship. Him and Jason's podcast has blown up since he started dating Taylor Swift. It sounds like he wants to like maybe go into acting. He's hanging out with Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, why the hell would he want to like get more CTE than he already has and put his body on the line and like wake up at 5 a.m. and like exercise? Like, that's hell compared to the life he's living right now. Like, I could so see him just being like, you know what, never mind. And he would still go to the NFL Hall of Fame. He would still be a legend. He's won multiple Super Bowls. Like, he has nothing left to prove is the thing. Like, I could so see him. If I were him, I'd be like, I hate working. Like, let me just like, I would be like, okay, I'll be your wag to Taylor Swift.
Well, so you're saying he could potentially get hit so hard this next season that he could never remember lines in a film or TV show. He couldn't memorize his lines, right?
He could be jeopardizing like the future acting career that he's like working towards right now. So yeah, it would not be, I just would not be surprised at all.
Well, I'll tell you what, and this is a bad comparison, but I rewatched that O.J. Simpson Made in America docuseries a couple months ago, and O.J. very clearly like stopped playing football so he could pursue a movie hosting commercial career, and that turned out great for O.J. So Travis should follow in O.J.'s footsteps.
Yeah, totally. Completely.
Oh my God. Okay. This is actually sad news, but I wanted to bring it up. Matthew Perry unfortunately died last year, but this is interesting. They've actually been still investigating his death, and it was obviously he died from ketamine, the drug ketamine. And they were trying to find out how he got it, if the Postal Service was involved. But now an interesting person from pop culture's past has been brought into this. Do you remember Brooke Mueller? She was married to Charlie Sheen for a while. Brooke Mueller?
Yes.
So Brooke Mueller has now been investigated, has now been like, I guess they executed a search warrant for her sober living facility where she was living in May. And she has now done multiple interviews with law enforcement about this death, saying that she is potentially involved in some way, potentially through the U.S. Post Service, of getting ketamine through the mail. Brooke Mueller's name has been brought up. Now, Brooke Mueller, to me, I had not heard of her and heard about her in so long, because there was a long, thing where she was with Charlie Sheen, their kids, and she's been in and out of rehabs now for decades. But they allegedly, this one article says that her and Matthew Perry dated in like 2006 or something, that they met in AA. And that potentially they had kept in contact. So this is all alleged, except for the fact that the police have interviewed her. And I just thought, what an interesting thing is that they are actually pursuing how Matthew Perry got these drugs.
Did he like overdose on ketamine?
Well, ketamine, I guess, he already had issues.
He drowned, I think.
He drowned, but it also it was like his heart. I think it tightened some kind of walls around like his heart. Which can happen with ketamine use. And also he had already had so many things going on with his body, so many things wrong. He had spent so many months and months in the hospital throughout the years. It was so all of that kind of, but yeah, he was found in his pool hot tub area, which is so sad.
That is crazy.
Okay. Well, that
mail order ketamine, like where are we? Not interested. I'm just curious. Like, where are we getting it?
I talked to Brooke Mueller, allegedly. I don't want to get in trouble, allegedly. But I thought that was I was like, damn. Okay. So, also, this is like, we are really living in the worst timeline in so many ways. Do you know about this Huac 2 girl? Huac 2.
Spit on that thing.
Spit on that thing. So there was like a man on the street interview that found its way to TikTok that became this big viral sensation of this girl with her friend, obviously tipsy, and, having fun and talking about, doing something orally to a man. What you got to do is this. And she got let go from her job because of this. But then, being a viral sensation, she has gotten so many other kind of benefits. She is now like an influencer. But this was interesting. This weekend, Zach Bryan, the country singer, brought her up on stage to sing a song with him. And I just thought, this is like the weirdest, we live in the weirdest timeline.
She signed with like UTA or something.
Well, they said allegedly she had signed with ICM. I think that was disproven. That was a rumor, because ICM, UTA, and CAA are like the three big agencies, you guys. So the fact that this lady, off of one viral video that she stumbled into, would get one of the best agencies in town is mind-blowing. But I'm like, is that where we're at? Like, she was at like a sold-out arena show last night singing with Zach Bryan. And by the way, Zach Bryan is so plugged into the internet, this guy. He's dating that girl, Brianna Chicken Fry, who works for Barstool, like the octopus kid that Shane. What's his name?
I hate him.
Shane.
Hate him.
What's his name?
Shane.
Jake Shane. Yeah, it's like he's always at Zach Bryan shows. Like they all travel in this interesting pack, and now they've welcomed, I guess, the Hot Twa girl into it. Like that's wild. Like you used to have some sort of weird, like, well, not weird, you used to have some sort of amazing talent to be known. And now you've just got to be kind of quirky and funny.
You can be like any random person off the street, literally. Which is like, I guess it's democratized the fact, like, you can be anyone and become famous now, you know?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of cool. But she's not wrong. Like, sometimes you do just have to spit on that thing.
I'm choking on my coffee. Guys, kids, do not try that. I do not think you have to spit on that. Well, I mean, listen, this is a family show. So, but I found that, so Sophie, you've missed really your calling to be in like a real big influencer. You could have been on the stage with Zach Bryan last night. Well, I mean, now, but it scares me though. Like, how far are you going to go with this? Like, people are just now going to try to get into videos going, you just got to put it in your butt. Like, what if I'm the put it in your butt guy? Like, I just stumble like, you just got to put it in your butts. And then I try to become famous that way. And then you're the put in the butt guy.
Sometimes it can be like the best thing to happen to you, which for her it could be, or it could be like the worst thing to happen to you. You know, it's just, you know,
ID Discovery, which will wind up on like HBO Max, will do like a 20 years from now, what happened to the Huactua girl. Like, we're now going to have to like follow up on their lives. They're like going to be a reality star at this point. Kenya Moore, they have decided that she is not coming back to Real Housewives of Atlanta. They still don't know what happened. Allegedly, they were filming and she had visuals of the new cast member, Brittany Edie, doing things to a male private part, allegedly. And so there was an investigation, as Bravo has to do with all things now since Reality Reckoning. And Kenya didn't want to wait for the investigation to happen, so she decided to leave. But then on social media, she says all will be revealed soon. It just seems cloaked in mystery, but it's a real bummer. Do you have any opinion on this?
So from what I saw, it wasn't, because when it first came out, it was like, oh my God, she was showing revenge porn. Like, that's obviously a no-no. Don't want to be going around showing revenge porn, obviously. But then the image that actually came out was this cast member with just like a photoshopped like penis.
Yeah, on her face.
It wasn't real. Like, it wasn't real, like, you know, actual footage of like her having sex or whatever it was. It was like just a Photoshop job, which I thought was kind of silly. I'm like, okay, well, like, what's the big deal? It's kind of just like a Photoshop. I can understand maybe like, you know, Bravo being like, no, that's fucked up. Like, we don't want to be associated with that. But did you hear that she was apparently like filing a lawsuit against Bravo because Tom Sandoval actually did distribute revenge porn or take revenge porn when he recorded the FaceTime with Rachel or Rocky Bang
Bang. Yeah.
And Tom Sandoval wasn't held accountable for that. In fact, they gave him more money after that happened.
But Sophie, the big difference is the Tom Sandoval stuff was not filmed. They were not in season. This was actually for an event for Real Housewives of Atlanta. So that's where Bravo and NBC Universal are liable for that kind of stuff. Yes. So it is interesting. I have seen Kenya saying she's looking into, you know, what her options are in terms of the legal system. And of course, Bethany Frankel is somewhere salivating as well as crying over her ex-boyfriend, or ex-fiance. But Kenya's always been that character on this show that has always pushed the limit. She is like almost like from the beginning antagonistic, and it's worked well for her in so many ways. And I feel like people truly love her, including myself. But I think in this day and age, especially with everything being so litigious in terms of reality television, they've got to be this year more than any other year, like to the letter, making sure you do not go over a certain point. So I'm just curious to know more of the facts, because everything still seems so clouded that we don't actually have the actual account of why and what happened.
Right. And what do you think this means? Because I'm several seasons behind on Atlanta and Ronge, New Jersey. What do you think this means because I know that last season was kind of like a dud. What do you think this means for like what the season is going to look like in the current cast? Like
that's why reality,
because she's one of the stars.
Yeah. Reality television is such a crapshoot nowadays, because first off, you have to like our expectations are so out of whack because of shows like Vanderpump Rules and like the cheating scandal. So already they were kind of rebuilding. They brought Portia back in. They had, Candy is not going to be in this season. All of these changes hoping to rebuild Atlanta. And now they've been filming for like a good while. And this happens. And they don't even know if they're going to like edit Kenya completely out of this season. So it kind of screws them. There's been talks of having Phaedra back in now. And Phaedra you could have back in potentially because Candy's gone. They've talked about bringing She by Sheree back in because they had let her go as well. So they're really kind of at this rock and a hard place. But at the same time, I was reading this, I think it was a tweet by Ira Madison from the Keep It podcast. And he was saying, these shows should not be lasting this long. We should not be going into like past the 10th season of these Housewives shows. And I thought it was an interesting point, but at the same time, I kind of disagreed because I feel like just like football, you have bad seasons, but you believe in a team because you know eventually that they're going to have a good season. So it's this investment, but I feel like this really screwed Atlanta completely this season.
I guess we'll see what happens, but that would be interesting. I mean, Phaedra had a star turning role on the Traitors season 2. So it would make sense for them to be like, yeah, come back.
Speaking of Traitors, I talked to Bergie, our sweet Bergalicious, on Friday. People forget that he was actually in Love Island season 5 last season. That's how they found him. And he went right from Love Island into filming The Traitors, which, by the way, you don't watch Love Island USA, right?
No, I feel like I need to, but
season,
I have enough on my plate with Survivor.
Oh yeah. By the way, people love, we'll talk to Survivor in a sec because people love when you talk about Survivor. But the Bergie I was talking to him and we were talking a little bit about The Traitors. And this was an interesting piece of information. He let us know. I said, can you don't have your phone there like Love Island. Like, are you able to reach out to family and friends? And he said, every couple of days, you'll get a 10-minute phone call. A production assistant will watch you have that 10-minute phone call. So you can't talk anything about the game or how it's going, but you can have this 10 minutes. And he said, sometimes my girlfriend, I would call her first and it would only be 3 minutes. And so then I would call my family. But it also then shows that Tom Sandoval potentially knew all of this shit going down back here with Billy Lee and Kyle Chan and his girlfriend Victoria. So he most likely was aware of all of this shit happening a couple weeks ago, if you remember. I know that's old news now, but I thought it was somebody pointed that out to me that had listened to the podcast saying, hey, this means that Tom Sandoval probably did know what was going on at the time. Can you imagine if we see that on Traitors, Tom Sandoval coming back into a scene, like seeming rattled, and Dorinda's like, what's wrong, Tom? And he's like, I'm sorry, dude. I got big news back home, dude. Billy Lee has gone rogue, dude. Billy Lee's gone rogue.
Oh my God, I'm so not looking forward to Sandoval on The Traitors.
Oh, it's going to be high comedy. How can you not look forward to that? It's going to be so funny.
Also, wait, so like Boston Rob is also going to be on season 3, right?
Yep, Boston Rob's there.
So since I'm on my Survivor journey, I'm actually in season 19 right now, and I'm now watching in chronological order. And I'm on the season 19 finale. So I'm about to be on season 20, meaning that I basically watched 20 seasons of Survivor since March.
You got 23 seasons to go. How many more seasons do you have to go then? What season are we at now? 43?
How many are there? Like 40? Because they're casting for season like 50 right now, aren't they?
Yeah. And it's going to be old stars.
I actually was talking about that with my fiance because we're going to Japan for our honeymoon and we have like a long flight. And I'm like, oh my God, like, I wonder if I'm still going to be watching Survivor, and then I can download all the episodes of the season that I'm watching. Like, I love like watching Survivor on my flights recently.
Wait, if you're fit, but if you're done with Survivor, you should raw dog that flight to Japan.
You're right. Actually, you're right.
Yeah, it's a good waste of 16 hours of your honeymoon.
A waste of like the one time I'm ever going to fly first class in my entire life.
Oh, you're doing first class. Oh my God.
I think, knock on wood. I think that's the plan. I just watched Boston Rob. So his first season on Survivor was season 4, Marquesa. And then he comes back, and he didn't even make the jury that season. Loser. But when he became a superstar was season 8 All Stars, which is also when he met his wife, Amber. Amber wins. Boston Rob is the runner up. And you kind of see him become this like mafia puppet master. It's when he goes up to, after like a tribe swap, he goes up to another person on the tribe that Amber gets swapped to. And he goes, you take care of her, I'll take care of you. And he like whispers that, and then he eliminates that guy the next episode. He did not take care of him. He did not keep his promise. He's kind of like the godfather of like Survivor, but he's also like he's gonna be very entertaining in the Traitors, but I also like hate him. So I don't know how to
just
feel
because you hate that kind of strong mafioso type that like tries to tell people what's happening.
Yeah, he's just like a cocky like asshole, but like that's why it's gonna be funny when he's like, who are some of the other alpha males? Like Boston Rob does not like other alpha males. So Sandoval is going to think that he's the number one guy in this group, obviously. Like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting. Like now I'm like kind of like familiar with his game, Boston Rob. Like it's going to be interesting.
Well, Traitor season 3 is done filming. They are all back on U.S. soil, the people that are actually from here. So it is like people forget how quickly Traitors actually films. It's less than 3 weeks that it takes to film that show. So I'm so curious. But Bergie said he was talking to the sisters, the wrestling sisters, Nikki and Brie.
Oh, Bella,
yeah, sorry. But one of them is on the Traitors, and they were talking, and Bergie said that the gameplay, like everybody was kind of in the third season looking for their moment, and it might not be as good of gameplay as like people would want. But that's how kind of last season was, more characters, less gameplay. When I started watching other seasons of the Traitors, the gameplay was so much better. So like, it is interesting when you put all of those people that want that attention economy on them, that like, you know, people are going to be like Dorinda, she's going to potentially explode immediately. Like everybody's going to try to have their moment.
Yeah. And I also think that the Traitor season 1, I feel like it was an international hit. Like other countries, like the UK version, it was already popular, I'm pretty sure. But like Kyle Cook was on season 1. No one really like remembers it that much. Season 2 is like when it like really blew up. And I feel like it's like, yeah, like they probably are looking for their moment. Like this is going to be huge. You're going to get so many viewers. It's going to break the internet. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
I can't.
Shout out to my coworker Kyle, by the way, who just like G chatted me. He knows that like he's like my reality TV person at the office. He just like G chatted me out of nowhere the other day. He goes, "Not my Burgalicious was problematic for you." And I was like, I do too much because you do too little.
Oh, all right. This is good. This is a good
like
working relationship.
Quoting Traitors season 2. Like that was such a masterpiece in reality television.
It really was. It was so exciting. So I hope that they can live up to a little bit of the excitement of season 2. As we wind down here, a couple quick hits. Britney Spears' lawyer. I found this interesting. Matthew Rosengart is no longer representing Britney Spears after settling the conservatorship case. They announced this last week, quote, "Our goal together was always to suspend her father and restore her fundamental rights and civil liberties, and I will always be extremely proud of our work together." So this was his statement, and it says, as she desired, her freedom now includes that she will no longer need to attend or be involved with court or entangled with legal proceedings in this matter. So he is now no longer representing Britney Spears, and he frames this as a positive thing. Do you think this is a positive thing? Because there are so many questions still about Britney and so many weird stories out there about her. Like I always thought Matthew, like, oh, I hope he's a stabilizing influence in her life.
Yeah, I was like,
a long time.
Yeah, I was like, they're like family now. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like family. Yeah. So I was kind of bummed about that.
Zaddy Rosengart. Yeah, I'm bummed about that too.
Oh my God. We sexualized that dude so hard. And when he was like, I'd fuck that dude. Thank you for giving Britney her freedom. Everybody was like thirsting over Matthew Rosengart.
Oh my God. That was just Tom Sandoval's voice.
Yeah. By the way, I can only do 3 voices, you guys. Matthew Rosengart is also now representing Justin Timberlake. JK. Jake, that was a horrible joke.
Oh my God.
And then also, did you watch the third season of The Bear just came out on Wednesday? Are you a Bear head?
No, I actually I kind of hate that show. Not that
have you watched it?
I watched the first episode and I couldn't get, there was just like too much yelling for me, and everyone acts like it's like so
Jeff,
good. And watch
hands! I need hands right now.
And I saw a tweet the other day that it was like, everyone calls him Cousin, like the guy who plays Cousin, but it's like the real ones know that that's Desi from Girls.
Oh yeah.
What's the actor's name? Oh my God, I feel
he's so good.
So bad that I can't remember his name. Oh my God, what is the actor's name?
Oh, Ebon Moss Bacharach.
Ebon Moss Bacharach, yeah.
Yeah. He's by the way, he's playing the Thing in the new Fantastic Four movie for Marvel, which is an interesting thing because the Thing is like a orange brick guy. So like, what a waste of like Ebon. Like, how are you going to act with like orange bricks all around you? Sorry, this is probably not the show for like superhero stuff, but it's just a thought I had.
I mean, do you want me to get Henry? Like,
get that naked dude in the background over here. No, the Bear season 3, I burned through the Bear season 3, and it's one of those things where it's a great show. It's so like, you know, the editing, the music, all of this stuff comes together. I was kind of disappointed in certain things, like just in terms of story, and it takes itself so seriously, just like chefs take themselves so seriously. So there's so much positive about it, but also the fact that we call this a comedy, it's in the comedy categories at the Emmy. Like, this thing is a dramedy. It's like mainly a drama with like certain funny moments, but I just found it so weird. It's like it's all trauma. Like the whole thing is trauma, and I just found it interesting. Like I liked it. I didn't love it like I loved the second season. So that was just a quick
I'll take
review.
Your word for it.
Yeah, well, you're not going to watch it anyways. Watch it.
You know that meme. You know that like meme of Lala from like the one Vanderpump Rules reunion where I forget what the question was, but she's like, "No, and I never will." That's me when people ask if I watched The Bear.
Oh my God, did you see Brittany and Chris and Dodie are in Vegas this weekend having a girls' weekend?
Yeah, like I want to go. Like I want to be there.
Well, the Valley starts shooting in like 3 weeks, so I'm curious. Like everybody's got to like keep, like not us, the viewers, but like they've got to like chill out. Like everybody's got to keep calm. Like stop like the podcast. I mean, Brittany and Jax, are they, aren't they? Lala Kent was on Brittany and Jax's podcast on Friday. Like it's all, I just feel like, I feel like they need to be kept in like separate like cages and locked away for 3 weeks and then just let them out for the first day of filming.
Also, like, is Lala, you're right, but like, is Lala okay? Like, remember a couple weeks ago
in what sense?
Podcast, she was like, you know, Vanderpump is on pause. I just don't think that like my life would fit for the Valley or for Real Housewives. But she was also saying, you know, like, I forget exactly what the quote was, but basically saying like, I wouldn't fit into these other reality shows. Then, okay, then you're not good for reality TV. Then like, go away. Do you know what quote I'm talking about?
I do know what quote you're talking about. And she was kind of just saying like, listen, I really don't know where my life fits in any of these shows or even Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. What I will say, I took that as two things. She's heavily pregnant, obviously, breaking news. And then secondly, contract negotiations. It reminded me of when somebody of like, I don't even need this job. I don't even know if I want this job.
Does. We know.
No, obviously, but I feel like she's putting that out there of like, I'm not desperate. I don't need this stuff. I have like a ninja endorsement on my IG. Like, I don't need this. I got the podcast. I feel like it's a little bit of talking tough, a little bit of like, and also, you know, it's interesting now as the dust settles from Vanderpump Rules, really to see where everybody goes, because Ariana's, I mean, absolutely crushing it on Love Island USA. Then she goes in August back to Chicago on Broadway. And I think Scheana had Maddie Healy's mom on her podcast this week. And Maddie Healy's mom, she's like, hey, can I bring up Ariana real quick? Can I bring up Ariana? And said that the Brits don't really like Ariana. And first off, Maddie Healy's mom, calm down. And secondly, you're Maddie Healy's mom, you know, and then thirdly, you don't speak for all the Brits. Like, I think Brits love Ariana. And also, you know, I wonder if Scheana like had pause about leaving that in that podcast episode, just in seeing the knock she's taken for allegedly not supporting Ariana last season.
Who asked you, Maddie Healy's mom? Maddie Healy's mom? Maddie Healy's mom? Literally, who asked you? Like, I love how she's acting like she like speaks for the entire like island of Great Britain. Going on shenanigans. Don't you have better shit to do, bitch?
But by the way, and I know she was a huge 1975 fan, so that must have been huge for her. But Maddie Healy's mom, I just wonder if she's also angry that Maddie fumbled the bag a little bit with Taylor. And don't come at me for any of this, but Maddie Healy's mom potentially wanted to be like Travis Kelce's mom. And if there's any kind of like professional jealousy there in terms of like celebrity moms.
Yeah, but now Maddie Healy's engaged to Gabriette. So.
Oh yeah, the model Gabrielle. Yeah, I did a deep dive on her the other day. She's actually really interesting, seems like a very interesting person.
And she is the Taylor Swift of Amelia Hamlin's.
The Taylor Swift, that's beautiful. Okay, and finally, I don't think you're watching this, but I wish you would. The Gypsy Rose reality show every Monday night on Lifetime. It's called Gypsy Rose, Life After Lockup. I love this reality show so dearly. This Gypsy Rose, I love it so much. We are at a crucial moment in this reality series, you guys, where she married Ryan in prison. And then when she came out, we saw Ryan. And remember Ryan, the D was fire. Not me, Ryan, but the guy, Ryan. And she's like, the D is fire. And he's like, the D is, Gypsy says the D is fire. But then there was this other guy that she was with in prison that broke her heart named Ken. And Ken now is starting to come back in the picture on the reality show. Ken is like sniffing around, and it is wild. We're like coming up on the episode where Ken and Gypsy talk again, and Ryan realizes like, oh my God, I'm losing my wife potentially. Guys, it is gripping. It is gripping. And especially when you remember that Gypsy Rose was in prison for helping facilitate the murder of her mom. And I'm sitting there every week like a doofus going like, oh my God, just Gypsy. Like, it's so just Gypsy. It is so, why are you not watching this reality show?
I feel like I need to, because literally all I do is watch Survivor. Like, ask
this
anyone.
Is a different.
I want to start that new Apple TV show with Jake Gyllenhaal that I heard is really
good.
Like,
Presumed Innocent. Yeah.
Yes, I heard it's amazing, but like I'm busy with Survivor.
You're watching a show seasons from like 16 years ago. Like, you can't watch something current.
I know. Wait, I'm watching a season 19, which was in 2009. And Jeff is like, when did you get that haircut, Shambo? She has like a mullet. It's a contestant with a molo. And she's like, 1986. And he's like, 23 years ago, 1986. And being like, yeah, that was 23 years ago. It's just like funny.
God. It's I mean, this Gypsy Rose Blanchard show, I'm telling you folks, it's like hitting every button. We love it. We love it.
I saw that Gypsy Rose posted something with her ex. It was a side-by-side of her ex and like her current guy. And it was like, sometimes you got to kiss the frog to get the prince.
Listen, I don't want to stand up for Ryan too hard, but I feel for this guy. Like, I mean, listen, it's all a basket case, no matter how you cut it. But like, he this big hubbub, you're on social media everywhere. And then like the worst thing happens. The ex that she was in prison, she comes back into the picture. But then you guys, the reason I bring this up, and I don't know if the show is going to talk about this, there's all these TikTok stories that this Ken guy from prison might go the other way, allegedly, and that Ken's boyfriend came out and said, yo, and then also alleged that Gypsy might have faked a pregnancy to keep Ken there. And like, guys, I don't know if any of this is BS, but it is just Gypsy. I'm like, this is season 2, baby. Cause like, I had not heard, but I was like, oh my God, is Ken bisexual? Is Ken, it just blew my mind. So I'm hoping that they cover this on the reality show, but I mean, this show is wild. I can't believe you didn't hear anything about this.
I think I need to watch it.
But I don't want to hype it up too much because it's not like Sandoval, but it is interesting because she's like fresh out of prison. And then she's like all of a sudden this star. And then all of a sudden Ryan has to go back to his teaching job and she's just like puttering around their apartment. And then the ex-boyfriend pops back into her life and she's like rearranging his like refrigerator and throwing out all his condiments. It's like, Gypsy, I love those condiments. I didn't give you permission to throw away those condiments. It's groundbreaking.
Honestly, like life goals. Like, what a trajectory.
Oh my God. Sophie, what are you doing this week for 4th of July? What do you have to tell the people? How are we celebrating America?
I think we might come back down to the Jersey Shore, or we might just stay like at home this weekend. I just haven't been home for a few weeks. As you guys know, I'm like a jet setting socialite. So I'm excited to like maybe be home for the weekend. So yeah, what about you?
Where's the pooch?
Oh, he's here. He's asleep.
Okay.
He's asleep on the couch right there.
Okay.
Hi, baby. I'm looking at him right now. I would bring him into the frame.
No. I was just all of a sudden I was like, wait a sec, you've been gone for weeks. Is everything okay with the dog? What a horrible way to end the show. If you're like, we no longer have the dog, Ryan. Thank you for asking.
He's no longer with us.
Yeah, he's no longer with us. Okay, so Sophie, this 4th of July weekend, but oh God, we didn't. This is not a political show, but that debate, didn't that scare the shit out of you the other night?
Yay.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about it. So you guys have a great holiday week. Hopefully you guys get Thursday and Friday off. Sophie, is there anything coming up for you that we need to know about?
Oh, my episode with Christy from X Knows All about Lauren Spear and the Lauren Spear book that came out.
Who's Lauren Spear?
She is the woman that disappeared from Indiana University in 2011 when I was a student there.
Oh, wait. What is the book? This is the book you were reading, right?
Yes. And the book is called College Girl Missing by Sean Cohen. It was really good.
Somebody asked about the book and I forgot what it was. College Girl Missing.
Yes. And that episode is coming out, I think, any day now. So I'll post about that when it comes out. So follow me.
Okay. College Girl Missing. Interesting story there. Okay. Wow. Oh, by the way, because I saw your episode get passed around about the Nick Viall stuff.
Oh my God, yes.
I saw it in a TikTok video.
It's blowing up, and I'm like so excited that
you're excited.
Nick fucking Viall. It's just he hides behind this like facade that his life is perfect and his relationship is perfect while he talks shit about everyone else and gives everyone else shit for not having like the most perfect lives and relationships. It's just like, it's so gratifying to me as a long time arch nemesis of his.
No, we know that you're arch nemesis, but basically what you're saying though, is if he didn't actually dole out relationship advice and how to live life, that's why you're railing against this, because he actually comes at this as like a perfect person.
Don't throw stones from glass houses, baby.
And you see Harry Jowsey got into the mix, and Harry Jowsey, came for Nick's like
Harry Jowsey, who is arguably like worse than Nick Viall. But the fact that he commented, basically someone was like, oh, Nick Viall is talking shit about you on his podcast. And he was like, hey, because he's British, right? Harry Jowsey.
Like, Australian British. Like,
he needs to keep my dick out of his mouth and worry on his own relationship and his. I'm sorry, it's not as easy for me to do
impressions, right? See, Sophie?
Ow. But basically, comment was like, he needs to worry about his wife cheating on him. And so that comment that he left got picked up by like Us Weekly. And it finally like started, because before it was just like on Reddit and like kind of like a few TikToks, but then it started to like blow up even more. So,
but in a sense, like Harry like, doesn't it kind of just drive both of their shows? Like where it kind of helps in a certain way too. Like it keeps people talking. Like I would imagine Nick doesn't want to be talked about this way, but I do think it's like for Harry, it keeps his name out there.
I actually heard rumors because Harry has a podcast with the Unwell Network, which is Alex Cooper's, which by the way, she just signed Hallie Batchelder, who's also like another like carbon copy, bleach blonde, like tan white girl. And then she also has the Alex Earl. Like she has not signed one person of color this entire time. It's literally all basic white people. Harry Jowsey is one of the people in her network who has a podcast called Boyfriend Material, and no one listens to it. It's apparently really bad. And apparently he is about to get dropped by Alex Cooper. So,
well, maybe this actually got him a stay of execution if people like actually started downloading his podcast.
Honestly, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. You guys, Harry can't be as good as this podcast right here. Two professional podcasters. Sophie Ross, thank you so much for being here once again. And folks, have a great week. Bye.
Bye.